graduates, well, Christmas is approaching, and it's not only a season for rejoicing or a season for sharing and giving, but also a season of reflection. Since coming on YouTube and becoming a blogger, I've noticed so many things about our community. We are indeed a wonderful people in this diaspora, full of talent and gifts. But there are certain key lessons that I have learned that I wish to share with you. First things first, I know every Headteacha laugh. Social media has shown me how human beings will gravitate towards those who are the most popular, and they will do so for personal gain. And when they are not satisfied with what they have received, they then turn around and they will despise the very same person that they gravitate towards. 2023 has not only shown us the best of certain social media personalities, but we have also witnessed the worst of them coming out into the open. We have seen those who were considered allies take a complete 180. We've witnessed fragmented friendships, self-destruction of the popular, and what many would consider the irreversible damage to reputations, all of which were derived from relationships that went murky during the night. But another thing that social media has taught me is that success is not final, failure is not fatal, and it is the courage to continue that counts. Some, despite their offsets, have returned to social media, determined to create an impact. Even those whose reputations have suffered due to public scrutiny have made a complete change in terms of how they deliver their content, and by their very presence not being deterred by the past. Some have capitalized on this by growing themselves into formidable forces on social media, be it on the back of other people's demise. Whereas others have taken the time to create opportunities for themselves in order to determine their own success, proving that social media does not always have to be constituted on negativity, but that positive growth is possible once you choose to be courageous enough to take risks. Otherwise, accomplishment is limited. Social media has also taught us that consistency is key to achieving your goals. As long as you are consistent with your approach to communication and to your endeavors, growth is a must. And those social media personalities who step out from their comfort zones always achieve great things. By remaining complacent and cruising in one gear, you will struggle to achieve great success in a space like social media. But this does not mean that your success does not count. Sometimes success isn't always about greatness, it is about that consistency. And by being present and accounted for, and being consistent in your approach, you will continue to gather the benefits of being on social media. And that stick-to-itivity will show your audience that you are one that can be relied on. Another thing that social media has taught me is that hypocrisy comes in many forms. But one fundamental thing that all the different forms have in common is the fact that hypocrisy is a detriment to progress because there is always a hidden agenda. In social media, there are constant comparisons being made between personalities. One of the things that is often said is that humility is often lacking. But let me remind you this. With people of limited ability, modesty is merely honesty. But with those who possess great talent, it is certainly hypocrisy. So when I see someone with great talent showing off or celebrating all the things that they have achieved, I do not consider that to be hypocritical or a lack of humility, but indeed flagship occasions of recognizing where they are now as a result of hard work. However, when we see people of great talent who are pretending to be modest as though they are not capable of celebrating their own achievements, The hidden agenda is usually to dupe people into thinking that they are humble when in fact they have got an alternate and ulterior motive. To lull their followers into a false sense of comfort when they are indeed full of pride. Such a pretense cannot last and eventually is made evident by the things that they say or do on social media. And hence, when revelations are made, followers are left disappointed. There are those on social media that will say that all involved are hypocrites, because to them they see hypocrisy as the ultimate power move. It is a way of demonstrating that one plays by a different set of rules from ones adhered to by common people. And in fact, many who claim that they are far from hypocritical are practicing what they consider to be discretion. But let me tell you this: discretion is a polite word for the same, hypocrisy. For when we choose to be discreet on social media, we are simply not telling the hard truth as it is, but dressing it up in order to create some kind of balance between fact and emotions. Which brings me to the next lesson. Many will often say that social media is not a real place. Now, while there is some truth in that, it is important for us to remember that behind every keyboard there is a real person. So whenever it is that we see an individual being represented by their words or by their images and their voice, they are in fact reflective of who these people actually are. Real human beings with real problems and real weaknesses. So when you enter social media as a space and you decide that you are going to be antagonistic towards other social media personalities, what tends to happen is that your realness will be investigated by those with an astute eye. Often, no stone will be left unturned as people choose to expose who you truly are to the public. And in that instance, a virtual space crosses over into your physical reality, and that can cause great distress and harm. Social media henceforth becomes reflective of the different types of human beings we'll encounter in everyday life. Some of us are very good at being socially accepted, while some of us are essentially socially awkward. As a result of that, you will have certain personalities which create friction on the media. Many times these characters literally do not know how to read the room. And by not knowing how to read the room, they cause a lot of offense, and many of their behaviors may be classified as cringeworthy. But to be perfectly honest, the acceptance of such personalities are usually as a result of people realizing this is essentially who they are, as opposed to who they're trying to be. Now, people will say that such people don't deserve followers, but I have seen this over and over again on social media, that every hoe them stick a bush. There is always going to be a dedicated set of followers that assign themselves to personalities that they're drawn to. You cannot stop this. And when you have individuals who try to remove other people's followers, be it out of vengeance or out of spite, you will find that this will work against your favor. So it has always been my approach to live and let live. I have learned that when you deliberately seek to damage the following of another social media personality, you in fact propel them into growth. Remember, generally, everybody loves an underdog. And if you needfully or pointlessly attack any individual on social media, their followers will cling to them and support them in order to repair any damage that has been created. From all the examples that I have seen, tear down campaigns do not work. But human beings will be human, and they will continue to display their emotions in whatever way they see fit. Despite some of the social media personalities being categorized as the most hated on the internet, I have seen their followers grow immensely in the past year. In fact, not only have their following grown, they've also increased their number of supporters. What does that tell us? That it is really important to focus on your own responsibilities, your own area of expertise, without interfering with the responsibilities of others. Likewise, it has also taught us that when living in a glass house, do not throw stones. Indeed, there has never been an action without a reaction on social media, some of which have been detrimental to the emotional well-being of many of its participants. Listen, this year we have seen it all, from laughter to tears, from enmity turned to friendship, from the secret made public, from truth to defamation. And all the positives that have led to a negative have been as a result of people not respecting boundaries. And this is not just about other people invading privacy. No, this is about oversharing on the media. There are many social media personalities that really need to learn to take a step back in terms of sharing their personal life with the public. Not everyone is going to treat your personal life with respect. It is important, a lesson to learn, that we should protect those that are near and dear to us on social media, that we should protect our personal lives as much as possible. There are many spin-offs to being targeted on social media in terms of cyberbullying. If people cannot catch you, they will catch your nearest and dearest. So by investigating you and not coming up with anything that they can use against you, they will seek to tear down your very own family members. This is indeed one of the most harmful sides of being involved in social media. But where you are not the proactive one in such an act, the public will come to your defense. Because as long as you are seen as someone who does not interfere with others, you will always garner sympathy and empathy from those who are your supporters and your followers. Otherwise, any discomfort that you experience will be heaped on like coals on your head, because you are seen as someone who is constantly interfering with other people who don't even see you. It is so important to stay in one's own lane on social media. However, as bloggers, we tend to cross over into other people's affairs purely on the basis of what you would call social journalism. 2023 has taught us some of the dangers that are attached to such a job. And the penultimate lesson from this is social media responsibility. As bloggers, we truly have to learn that when handling other people's information, we should do so with tact and fairness. And in many instances, we have to learn to be objective even when we have our own personal biases. Everything that is said and done on the media can come back to haunt you. It can not only affect your popularity, but obviously impact on your earnings, and it can make your influence far less impacting. Your credibility then becomes at risk, and the respect that you've earned from your followers will start to diminish. Hence, it is really important as bloggers that we identify fact from personal opinion and make that very apparent when sharing information with our audience. We have also seen the growing use of social media platforms to manipulate followers. Misinformation, twisting of the truth, deliberate slander and libel continues to be a major factor in the social media space. Although we have seen many suffer the consequences of this misuse of platforms, be it legally or otherwise, it seems as though this element of social media is here to stay until a significant example is made of those who are perpetuating this behavior. Until such times, I have certainly observed many bloggers who continually weaponize their followers in order to target particular people whom they have personal vendettas against. It is indeed only the bravest of the bloggers who are capable of handling any situation independently without having to garner the support of others for the negative impact against another blogger. I really wish that this part of social media would eventually go away. At the end of the day, we can have our disagreements, but to use your followers in such a way is really an irresponsible use of social media. Hence, graduates, I have certainly learned that there are certain places on social media where I will not traverse. In other words, while I may have no ill intention towards other such platforms, I am very wary of the impact of such on my own reputation, but also on my own ethics when it comes to handling a subject. And if I do not necessarily agree with the stance or the behaviors of some of my fellow colleagues, rather than create any kind of disharmony, it's best that I stay in my own lane and represent what I think in the best way possible using my very own platform. But we do have a situation where many will tend to trod on other people's toes, trying to tell them how to run their platform or how to deliver their content. That is certainly not the role of bloggers between ourselves. Remember, small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, and great minds discuss ideas. But every human being is entitled to seek out the information that they're looking for according to how they feel on a given day. Therefore, there will always be space for bloggers who discuss people, always be space for bloggers who discuss events, and always be space for bloggers who discuss ideas. And likewise, always a space for a blogger who discusses all three. Which is why I truly believe that we should live and let live. Because all of us at every given time will be presenting information to the public which they will continue to consume and appreciate, regardless of what bloggers think of each other. So graduates, let us give thanks for 2023, for all the lessons that we have learned and all the information that we have gained from social media, some of which have improved our lives, have developed our skills or attributes in a way that we've been able to be blessed by them, for all the laughter that we've gained from watching other people's contents, for all the spiritual and emotional upliftment that we have gained from some of the events that we have seen on display. Many of us have built our businesses on the basis of social media. Many of us have eaten bread as a result of what we've earned on social media. Many of us have developed friendships that have become lifetime friendships through social media. Not all of it is bad. In fact, some of it is pretty damn good. So as we enter the season, let us remember to be our brothers and our sisters' keepers. And where we cannot, let us wish them well and go our merry way. Graduates, I wish you continual blessings for Christmas, and I also wish you continual blessings for 2024, which promises to be yet another year filled with drama and excitement on social media. This is your girl, Headteacha Kay, wishing you all the best for the season.